wanting to make a video because I've got a financial challenge that I'm doing right now and I didn't tell you about this one just because finances are private. What are you thinking? I don't want to talk to you about this. But I since I got my job, I decided that I wanted to try just paying for everything in cash. And just because I was always using my credit card. And so, well, of course, but over the summer I didn't have the job. And so that was the trend, just use the debit. And it's, I've heard it's so easy to just forget that you're spending money if you can just swipe a card, because you kind of turn off that that's your finances, that's your central way of affording life and everything. So you hear those philosophies of, why don't you try paying in cash? It makes it much more real. You get to see how much you are given back. It, in theory, can make you more accountable for what you're spending. And so I thought, all right, well, I will try paying for everything in cash. And so I have gone to an ATM. I did go to the bank, I think maybe once or twice, and I took money out. But otherwise I've been going to an ATM. Most of my, everything I buy is essentially groceries. So I go to the grocery store, and the ATM there is not associated with my bank, so there is a fee associated with taking money out. And so that is something to be mindful of. The fee, I lose money by taking money out and by using cash. But for the experiment, I said that's okay to shell out an extra less than $3 every time I take out money. And of course, that makes you mindful of how much you're taking out at any one time. And so I have been taking money out of the ATM, and like I said, pretty much everything I buy, all groceries. So then I go grocery shopping and get whatever. And so now, though, at the same time, I've been pairing it with a new program where I can access my paycheck before payday. And that has been an interesting experience as well, especially since I have been, like I said, I've been paying back debt because I've not been working over the summer. So I've been paying off my credit card. I'm paying my parents' monies for the rent that I owed, and then so they said, we're not charging you rent, hon. And I was like, I still want to pay rent. I still want to give you something in way of this. So I am paying them for that. But it's just been kind of a weird mess with the paying with cash. I don't know that it's made me feel more accountable, just because I was kind of holding myself accountable anyway, since I've for a while there, I was literally just living off of what I was selling off of Facebook Marketplace, which was cash anyway. And a lot of it was a lot of popcorn, because I was poor over the summer. I was exceptionally poor. I had a store, I sold my car. And so I had monies from that sale. And then after that was gone, then it was all Facebook Marketplace. So there were splurges. I was having a lot of electrolyte beverages. And so my grocery cart was still pretty full, and it was a kind of privilege to, up until the point where it was all Facebook Marketplace purchases, and just trying to make it work, pawning items and things like that. So, and again, I have made a video. Was it worth it? And to me, I do think the time off was 1,000 times worth it. To actually have that time to just create and to live in an alternative experience. And it was the tent life, and it was very experimental, hand washing clothes, figuring out where and how to use the restroom. I made videos of that. So it was definitely it was very, very experimental. Coming back into the workforce, I didn't want to. I am, of course, once you have freedoms, it's so nice to have freedom. And I was hoping to entrepreneur my way through and figure out how to better the world, better the planet. But then the bills started stacking up. They started stacking up. And so I do need to pay that off. And so I rejoined the workforce. And so kind of going into it, I was already being very conservative with monies, eating a lot of ramen, eating a lot of popcorn. So now I've got the daily pay going, and I've got the paying with cash going. And it's been unique. I do not feel like paying with cash has been particularly different. I don't know that it has been holding me accountable per se, because I was already in the mindset, let's just get ramen. Let's just get all the ramen. Just all the ramen. all the noodles. Anything that's gonna fill you up is completely inexpensive. And so I don't know if but I have been splurging a little bit since I have been getting the paychecks now. And it's partially just, you can't be a saint all of the time. And after, months of popcorn and ramen, you're like, you know what? Yes, I work in a bakery. I want donuts, and so I want to support the bakery. I want the donuts, and I'm buying donuts, and that's it. So I have purchased donuts, and I've tried to be supportive of my work environment, and I've experimented in that regard with what I've tried. I don't think I've ever had an apple fritter really before, and I had an apple fritter, and it's apple. I don't much care for apple and baked goods, but in general, I'm not a big baked fruit person. Chocolate, chocolate, caramel, fruit, great on the side. Same with nuts. I don't like baked nuts. I like nuts, but on the side raw, or and they can be salted, or they can be roasted, lightly roasted, or but I don't like them in things as much. So just a nuancy thing. Fruit, I don't like in things. Nuts, I don't like in things. So particular, but but now I've forgotten where but anyway, I tried an apple fritter, and it was like moist, and it was delicious, and it was fresh. And so I am still experimenting in my palate, because otherwise I just give me those Bismarcks and the cinnamon rolls, and I'll be fine. But I tried another raised donut that was just like a traditional like donut ring. Because in the past I've not really liked some of those like more I feel like they're more compact donuts versus like airy donuts, and so I don't like donut holes. I wasn't sure that I'd like the donuts that are in the ring, but I think that there are different ones that are a different recipe probably, but that I just don't care for. But I tried the traditional ring donuts, and those were also actually fairly nice. I still prefer the custard filled or the raspberry filled of the Bismarcks, Long Johns, the Long Johns that have the filling. So good. But so I have been experimenting in that regard. Otherwise it's back to ramen. So every once in a while, and we had the holiday too, and so it's just every once in a while, just trying to support where I'm at right now, and then back to ramen. But trying to be conservative. Today I'm making a video because I'm at a weird crossing point. I'm also trying to do no data, no Wi-Fi. So I wanted to make a video because it's decision making time. I have just popcorn in way of foods, stuffs, and I think like mine and my parents maybe got swapped, and so I don't know what the protocol is, if I'm allowed to use the bag that I think is mine, because it's the exact same brand, the exact same, we go to the same grocery store, and I pay for my own groceries, they take care of their own groceries, so it's like, crap, is that yours or is that mine? So then the protocol there if I can just have the popcorn, and then I work with popcorn and work in popcorn, and I purchased popcorn from work, and that was delightful. I got the mixed brand, so it was like the cheddar and caramel, and that was really good too. And I've not really had that for a very long time. We used to have flavored popcorns in like holiday tins growing up, and so it's been a long time since I've had flavored popcorn, and it was very nice. I ate it very quickly. It was very good with the savory and the sweet, and just the subtle sweet. It was really good. So, but now trying to figure out what to do this morning, because I've been getting access to my paychecks early, trying to bring it all together, all these different elements of this experiment that I've not really talked about because it's finance is private, but all these different nuanced elements. But so now I'm at a turning point because I only have the popcorn, and I'm not sure what to do with the popcorn, because is that my popcorn or is that my parents' popcorn? Is it my popcorn? Is it my parents' popcorn? Which is not in theory, a life or death situation. It's not that big of a deal, frankly. I can just say, Ma, which one is yours? But I'm taking from the popcorn. But I would like to go get groceries. And I've got $4.50 that I can use, but I'm trying to use all cash. And so if I want to use the $4.50, like the cash, I would have to go to the bank. And so I'm walking too, for my commute, I'm walking. So the closest bank is about 4 miles away. So I can walk to the bank and I can have $4.50 at my disposal. But from there, it's, that's actually on my way to work. So I could walk to the bank and I can have the $4.50. But I'm walking all the way back. I work about 6 miles away, and I've been walking. I've also been getting rides from my parents too. But should I get the $4.50 in cash and then have it to go grocery shopping it's a separate town. In the separate town where I live, to get groceries, of course, it'll probably be ramen. In which case, should I go grocery shopping, then I will need the accoutrement if I want to make ramen soup. I've been making the soup just because it fills you up more, having the water there. And with the ramen, I am vegetarian, and the powders have a lot of, I think there's a beef bouillon or like some sort of beef chippings, I don't know, powder. So I cannot eat the powdered flavoring for a lot of them that are on the market right now. And so it's just noodles with water, essentially. And then it has a little bit of grease, just to give it a little flavoring naturally. So it is it is a soup. There is some element of soup to just the water and not just like starch. But should I go get the $4.50 in cash, get the ramen, walk to work, and then have the noodles at work? I'm doing the no data, no Wi-Fi, and I do have a backlog. So I could, in theory, I've got a bunch of things that I want to post that I can't. Like this video is going to have to wait until I find Wi-Fi. Right now I'm at the house, but I'm going to have to post it later. So should I go into that other town, get the $4.50, but I don't want to get to work too early. I don't want to, I feel like that's unprofessional to just go and just use the Wi-Fi. So I could get the $4.50 and I could go to a coffee shop, and there I could get like a beverage or a breakfast food for the $4.50. And then figure out the popcorn situation until I can use the daily pull from my paycheck, which right now is on hold, which is why I'm not able to access that because of an issue with cybersecurity, and I didn't. My parents got rid of their phone, and so I've not been able to verify my identity, and so in that way, so now I'm speaking with their helpline because a lot of places you can do an email verification as well, and so I can do that. I just can't do the phone because we no longer have that phone number. So trying to figure that out. So I don't have access to the daily pay that I was hoping to use for groceries and just in general. So I have to wait on that until I get that sorted, but I've got an email from them, but I can't read the email until I get to Wi-Fi. And I am making this complicated. We have Wi-Fi, we have data at the house. I could literally just turn on Wi-Fi. And for the 450, I literally could just pull out my debit card and say, hey, I can't use my debit card. It seems ridiculous to walk 4 miles to get the 450 out of the bank. And like you could ask for cash back if you were to use your debit card, except you'd have to use a debit card. And then there's not a 450 cash back. I think the lowest denomination you can get in cash back is 5 on the little device, unless you ask, hey, could I get cash back? And I haven't done that I don't think I've ever done that ever. So just because the panel normally says the 5, 10, 20, how much do you want cash back? So I don't think I've ever done that, but so that's not an option. So I am making it more complicated. I'm trying to remain true to the experiment that I'm experimenting, that I'm doing. So should I walk, or should I say it's okay to use the debit card for 450 to get the ramen for this morning, hold off on the Wi-Fi, because I was just at the coffee shop last week, Monday. So it's been a week and a day, which is, I could go, or I could wait until later. But I've still got to figure out 450. Should I get the coffee so I can actually get caught up and feel like I'm caught up and I'm not like a backlog of all these things that need to get done and they're not getting done. I've been able to work through because I've got holiday gifts that I'm still working on and creating and making to give this holiday season. So I've not needed the Wi-Fi data, or I've been able to keep myself busy enough, but I do have a stockpile of things that I want to post. I need to get on to it at some point. So it is an eventuality, an inevitability that I will need the data Wi-Fi to get on to post. So should I splurge now with the 450 that I've got? And in that circumstance, there is a coffee shop by the bank, so I could get the 450 out of the bank and then go to the coffee shop and just get a cheap cup of coffee and do the Wi-Fi and check the emails with the customer service and then have access to more funds. That could be an option. Or I could hold off and not get the coffee. I could go to the bank. I could go to the grocery store and get ramen, and then just like have raw ramen and figure it out from there. There's not really a good like community center or like library in the town where you could go and not pay for anything to get free Wi-Fi. So that's a concern there. They have a Caribou in the grocery store there, but I wouldn't need coffee in that context because the 450 would go towards ramen noodles. So, but like they do have, I don't know that they have a seating area. Some grocery stores do have seating areas for like lunch breaks or, things like that. But I don't know if this one does. I don't know if this company does that. So that would be an experiment. We would have to find out, but it's a huge grocery store. And so going in for like 4 things of ramen, I don't know if that's worth it. So, what should I do? Should I use my debit card, for now, or should I try and find Wi-Fi take care of the ramen noodles while I'm still here at home with no data, no Wi-Fi, and then just try and figure out the data, Wi-Fi, the paycheck when I get to work, and try and get there a little bit early. That's what I've been doing, and I've not been accomplishing as much as I want. So it's the backlog, kind of frustrating. So, but this is the experiment. I wanted to talk about this just because this is the experiment that I chose for myself, and I told you about the no data, no Wi-Fi, and so this is kind of one of the moments, a pivotal moment. I didn't tell you about the cash, just paying in cash, and so that's a thing. Should I just use my debit card? Should I actively walk to the bank to get the $450 out of the bank? It's something that is a part of this experiment, and it seems like a triviality. But if, like, who in the real world can only use cash with $20 increments, or like who can only go to a debit or like an ATM? That seems impractical. But because if you get like a money order or something like that, like you can cash it out or whatever, but you would need to, generally that does happen at like a bank or like a store. I think you used to be able to do it at like a Kmart, or which doesn't exist anymore. So I don't know, maybe Walmart can give you money, like a MoneyGram type situation for like a money order. But I don't know if there's a place where you can just go and get $4.50 outside of a bank if you have a checking account. So I could transfer it over to like Venmo, but I don't know. I don't have I got a cheap phone, and so I don't know that I have the software in order to swipe to pay. And I do have Google Wallet, so I could use Google Wallet as well, except the whole experiment was to use cash. And so what to do. Let me know what you think. I just wanted to bring it up because it's one of those nuancy days of, I have to make a choice. And there's not like a great choice to like, I mean, it seems like the obvious, go to the coffee shop, get the Wi-Fi data situation figured out, speak with the customer service for the paycheck, so that way I would just have access to that for whatever, and then it that would loosen things up and make it less go now, and less stressful. But the nuances of the experiment would be there whether I have more access to money or not. So that it's not, I'd still be getting ramen if I had $10 in the bank, if I had more dollars in the bank. So it's really that's not actually going to fix anything. If I get access to more money, it would make it easier to get both groceries and the coffee, if to be able to get the Wi-Fi data in a socially acceptable way, as well as the groceries. So that is a nuance there, and it's just like an annoying, like trivial thing I have to figure out for adulting. I have to call the customer service, or I've got to, right now we've got an email chain going, so trying to sort that out. And if you don't have data Wi-Fi, how are you supposed to email with the customer service? And so like they emailed and I didn't see it for like an entire like 2 days. And so then I had to get back to them after 2 days. And then now I only had access for about 15 minutes to be able to reply. And then I didn't see anything from them. And then having to wait and see, like another 24 hours so I can get back to the workplace in order to see if I did hear back from the customer service. It's tedious. Life without data and Wi-Fi is more complicated. It's more complicated. And that's the moral. This video is way too long. I'll talk to you later. Okay, bye. I'll tell you what I do. Or I won't.